2025 has been an insane year for video games, especially when it comes to indie games. Schedule 1, Peak, Hades 2, Blueprints, Megabonk, and of course the game that brought the whole world to a stop the day it came out, Garfield Kart 2. But there are countless great games that release every year that fly under the radar that you more than likely don't know about. So let's talk about some of them. Welcome to episode 3 of Hiddenest Gem, whatever, just watch the video. Random Access Mayhem is a frantic action roguelike that's a perfect representation of what it feels like trying to get some decently priced RAM nowadays. The primary gimmick is that there is no set player character. Instead, you take control of the enemy bots you encounter, use each of their unique movesets to destroy enemies in spectacular fashion, and can freely swap to any other enemy on screen provided you have enough swap juice to do so. Die without enough juice to swap, and your run is over. As far as roguelikes go, it has pretty much everything you'd expect design-wise, randomized enemy encounters, upgrades, shops, and some light meta progression, but Random Access Mayhem's primary achievement comes in the form of the bot designs and how the swap mechanic enables some of the most dynamic combat I've experienced in this type of game. The bots are deceptively simple at first glance, sporting only a primary and secondary ability, but the several nuances of each bot and their abilities makes for an approachable skill floor and near endlessly high skill ceiling. Take the all-rounder Steel Toe, for example. Its primary skill is a no-frill shotgun blast, and its secondary is a melee range shockwave that knocks enemies back.
But I'm not done yet!
You can combine these two abilities by activating the shockwave and, with the right timing, fire the shotgun to tighten the spread and deal bonus damage. If you mistime it, you still get the bonus damage, but with a much larger spread.
But I'm still not done!
The increased recoil from both of these moves can also be used as a mobility tool to quickly reposition or avoid damage. Or take the beefier melee-focused Deadlift, which sports a chargeable punch attack and a grappling hook that can be used to pull in and pogo bots into other enemies or grapple onto walls for faster traversal.
Did you get that, camera guy?
This simple yet complex design extends to every other bot in the game, and experimenting with all of them is not only advantageous, but also awarded with additional points to spend at shops for using a variety of them, as well as pulling off trick shots, such as swapping away from a bot just before it dies or launching enemies into each other. This creates a combat flow that's equally strategically demanding as it is mechanically demanding, and is a refreshing take on top-down shooter combat at a time where the genre is becoming more stale than the near-empty box of cereal sitting in your pantry. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Either eat it or throw it out already, come on. I haven't mentioned the story yet because, frankly, I'm too stupid to make much sense of it, but there is some interesting lore you can piece together for the observant. Your primary directive may be to kill stuff, but if you take a moment to look around, you might find some interesting tidbits here and there. Before jumping in, I'd take note of a couple things though. First is that there isn't a significant amount of variety between runs. While the levels are procedurally generated, the tile sets are a bit limited, so the environments can get pretty repetitive. Also, upgrades, while plentiful and can change how you play with certain bots, mostly aren't going to fundamentally change your overall approach to combat. Roguelikes in general fall on a spectrum of luck versus skill, and this game very much falls into the latter, so how you feel about that really comes down to if you're a burgeoning gambling addict or someone who plays Elden Ring with their feet just to feel something. And with that, it's also worth mentioning this game is pretty damn hard. I myself am about 10 hours in and have yet to see the third boss. Keep in mind though that I don't have thumbs, so I have an excuse. Despite all of that though, Random Access Mayhem still gets a tails up for me due to its unique, tightly designed combat that left quite an impression even if I'm not sure I'll ever see the end credits. But more importantly, it has... Wow, I gotta tell you, I am really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this reference, so sorry if you don't get it. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, hello. I was wondering if you could play that song again.
Which one, man?
The one that goes...
HYPERBEAT is the result of someone remembering the game Rez from... how long ago was it? And then thinking, let's make something that looks like that, but even more rhythm gamey. And you know what? It works! Our character arrives at the Wellspring, a cozy little hub inhabited by several eccentric characters, all attempting to undertake the Sisyphean task that is self-actualization. How do we do that? by hitting different colored circles in a confined, never-ending tunnel that I'd imagine is what it's like to perform a colonoscopy on an Osu player. The game's 20 original tracks are segmented in sets of 5, each set being associated with a separate character. Scoring well enough on these tracks unlocks the next set of 5 and progresses each character's brief but compelling stories. It'll also unlock several cosmetics that you'll naturally use to become a cute cat girl with a giant sword, as nature dictates. The central theme revolves around the prospect of realizing one's potential, whether it be one's creative pursuits, career aspirations, whatever. As a self-described creative that enjoys the smell of my own digestive byproduct, each of the characters seem to be going through eerily similar mental blocks in the pursuit of their goals that I, and I think many others, have encountered as well. The constant struggle of balancing internal and external motivation, the constant friction between making a living and the things that make your life worth living, you know, shared human experience stuff. But despite that, HYPERBEAT serves as a calming reminder to enjoy the journey instead of focusing on perceived destinations. As for the gameplay, HYPERBEAT falls into what I consider to be a zen rhythm game. Instead of mashing inputs like you're performing Rush E at a piano recital, the primary focus is on precision. Most notes are hit automatically so long as your cursor is placed correctly, with some requiring timed hits and holds with and without directional input. It's very straightforward and somewhat unassuming at first glance, but it can definitely get pretty insane on the higher difficulties. Where HYPERBEAT excels, though, is in the note composition of each track. The numerous flicks and tracking you have to perform makes it feel like you're performing a dance rather than just pressing buttons rolling across the screen. The way this game flows feels almost akin to something like Beat Saber, which I frankly can't say about any other non-VR rhythm game I've ever played. Much of this is in part to the sleek presentation and excellent soundtrack. There's a sense of cohesion between the visual and audio elements that not a lot of games or media in general is able to pull off. Seeing my character gracefully float across the screen, twirling through a series of hold notes as the calm, almost nostalgic melodies bless my eardrums, just absolutely had my gooses bumping and made my brain feel like it was being massaged by a herd of baby chinchillas. It's good, is what I'm trying to say. HYPERBEAT is more than just another rhythm game. It's an experience that serves as a humble reminder to be present in the moment, to focus on where you are rather than where you want to be. It's as fun as it is meditative, and shows how rhythm games can offer more than just chases for high scores and perfect combos, which is great for me considering my sense of rhythm is so bad that I frequently clap on beats 1 and 3. And I'm sure anyone even remotely musically inclined watching this just threw up in their mouth a little. Sorry. Shotgun Cop Man is like if you gave Max Payne the aerial mobility of Super Meat Boy. So like Super Max Meat, nickname in college. It's a fast-paced action platformer that has you playing as the titular buckshot dispensing protagonist on a quest to go to hell and arrest Satan like you're Peter Thiel hunting for the Antichrist. However, the main gimmick at play here is that there is no jump button. Instead, you utilize the recoil from your shotgun to maneuver around. Additionally, you have a pistol and other weapons that's not only better equipped for killing demons, but also allows you to make shorter hops and momentarily float in the air. It's an unconventional control scheme, but it amazingly clicked a lot quicker than I thought it would. After only a few levels, the movement became second nature, and I quickly went from stumbling my way along to 3-starring levels and no hitting bosses on the first try. It's one of those games that just makes you feel cool as f with very little effort. Blasting through a room, shooting enemies with surgical precision with the help of some generous aim assist, and narrowly avoiding hazards and bullets thanks to your small, stocky frame ensures that even the filthiest of casuals can experience the rush that Shotgun Cop Man offers. And that's in big part due to the plethora of short but well-designed levels that have a very deliberate flow to each of them. I couldn't help but try to perfect a level before progressing to the next just due to how quickly I'd grasp what I'd need to do to pull it off. Every level is just like blah blah blah. Done. Easy. And the gradual introduction of different weapons, enemies, and obstacles as the game progresses ensures the game never gets too stale throughout the duration of the main campaign. Speaking of, after delivering justice to the Dark Lord, there's a couple of bonus campaigns to dive into, including one themed after the developer's previous game, My Friend Pedro, which is also very good by the way, and introduces a slow motion mechanic which is just as awesome as you'd expect. I mean, it's slow motion. That's like the MSG of video games. Of course it makes things better. It's even got a built-in level editor with Steam Workshop support to make your own shitty levels that reference outdated memes. Like, who would even do that? That's so crazy. Couldn't be me. My only gripe with Shotgun Cop Man is that despite how much I love the presentation, including one of the silliest death screens I've ever seen in a video game, the game itself can get visually and audially repetitive. The main campaign has 9 worlds, but there's no way I could guess what levels belong to which at a glance. And the music is similarly repetitive from the tutorial to the end credits, and just kind of became white noise after a while. Despite that, Shotgun Cop Man Door Hand Hook Car Door is still a great time. It feels good to play and makes you feel cool while playing it. I mean, it's got a level where you backflip on a skateboard through a window and blast some dudes in slow motion. What's not to love? It focuses on just being a fun game to play first and foremost, and sometimes that's all you need. Spindle is a modern tribute to people like me who love the classic Zelda games and who you definitely don't want to ask how they feel about Breath of the Wild after downing a 4-pack of triple IPAs. You play as Dengle, a boy who is suddenly whisked away to another world where they must take on the role of death, collecting the souls of the departed and investigating a mysterious dark entity that's emanating all kinds of bad juju. There's also a talkative pig with you. Also, there's... You then adventure across the varied landscapes and dungeons, collecting your lost powers and fighting all manner of baddies and bosses along the way. While I mentioned this is a Zelda-style game, Spindle has a bit more linearity in both its overall structure and level design that make it more approachable while still maintaining the spirit of the games that inspired it. There's a constant sense of forward momentum that the game nudges you in. Backtracking is minimal, with hidden collectibles being mostly limited to locations within the overworld, and dungeons have more straightforward layouts as opposed to the more labyrinthian style of its predecessors. What's peculiar though is that Spindle doesn't quite feel as linear in the moment as it appears in hindsight. The way forward typically isn't spelled out for you, but the world and levels are so deliberately designed that you'll intuitively figure it out on your own more often than not. Take the start of the game where you need to repair a broken bridge to progress. The only hint you're given is you need to find someone that can help. Upon exploring the nearby village, you'll notice there's a guy fixing a roof, and lo and behold, this is the guy you need to talk to fix the bridge. Now, this obviously isn't the most difficult puzzle in the world, if you can even call it that, but this hands-off, subtle signposting approach and confidence in the player's ability to recognize these signposts extends to the core design philosophy of the game overall. A puzzle or obstacle will present itself, and the game respects the player enough to figure it out themselves without, say, spraying yellow paint everywhere or having some snot-nosed prepubescent demigod telling you what to do just because you didn't solve a puzzle in less than 5 seconds. God, shut up, Atreus! Go back seat for your booster seat, you twerp! Conversely, though, the puzzles are intuitive enough that you'll more than likely not find yourself running in circles like it's the water temple, or even worse, Jabu Jabu's belly from Oracle of Ages, also known as Hell. Another area where Spindle differentiates itself from classic Zelda, though, is in its approach to items, or in this case, powers. Instead of each dungeon or area centering around one particular item and then pretending like it doesn't exist for the rest of the game, Spindle has a focus on a select handful of powers that build off of one another in both puzzle design and even some combat and boss encounters. This less is more approach to power and tool acquisition is incredibly refreshing and is in direct complement to its streamlined design. More importantly, one of the powers is essentially an even better version of Rock's Feather, aka the greatest item in Zelda history. Crazy how unlocking a jump button feels more exciting than getting the Master Sword. Lastly, Spindle's presentation undoubtedly deserves some praise. It's just incredibly crisp. From the lovingly crafted pixel art, the seamlessly smooth animations in both the game world and the UI, and the meticulous attention to detail present in the environments and the sound design, the amount of polish this game has is just really impressive. Even the font is pleasant to look at. Wait, have I seen this before? Overall, Spindle is a more than successful attempt at capturing the feeling of the classic Zelda games that came before it. It just goes to show that there's still some room in the new school for the old school, and how you don't have to completely abandon game design principles of the past in order to make a good game in the present. Yeah, I don't like Breath of the Wild. Oh man. Keeping it together is absolutely not in the cards for this one. My Little Puppy is a linear adventure game where you play as Bongu, a corgi in doggy heaven trying to find its way back to its owner. After gathering a welcome party for some new arrivals featuring the guy from Fortnite, you catch the scent of your owner and decide to follow it. The ensuing afterlife-spanning journey is bound to be emotionally moving, especially for anyone who's experienced the loss of a pet. And that's honestly the primary draw of the game rather than its gameplay. That isn't to say the gameplay is bad, mind you. You'll do some light platforming, various minigames, piss in every corner of a cave, standard video game stuff. But I won't remember My Little Puppy for what I did, but for how I felt while playing it. This is essentially the video game equivalent of the Rainbow Bridge poem. And for everyone familiar with that will understand the feelings that hit me while playing this game. A long time ago, I lost my beloved childhood dog, Daisy. She was cute as a button and dumb as rocks, but I still miss her to this day. In my mind, Bongu the corgi became a vessel for Daisy, and I envisioned her going through the same trials and tribulations to find me once it's my time to cross the bridge myself. Frolicking through a once barren meadow, to crossing oceans and enduring an unrelenting blizzard, all very wishful thinking, as in reality she'd probably just graze in the field eating grass like a cow, but I digress. The point is that My Little Puppy feels like less of a game and more of a window into the world we wish for our lost pets to be in, one that reflects the unconditional love our pets had for us. And I don't know, man, that's just fucking beautiful. The world is alive with color and little details with an amazing accompanying soundtrack, but most importantly, it's just so damn cute. Oh, look at the little guy. You can't fit in that little house. Oh yeah, you get that toy, buddy. Ah, look at him doing a little doggy paddle. Oh, my heart. It's a little weird that this version of heaven has everyone speaking in anime grunts. But that's neither here nor there. I know it might come off as weird that I focused more on this game's emotional impact on me rather than like the game part, and that might make you think I'm a little bit of a softie. But enough about my erectile dysfunction. My Little Puppy is just a nice game that brought up a lot of happy memories of the several late pets in my life, and one that I'll likely be coming back to if I ever want to revisit those memories again, and rekindle the love for the animals so long gone from my life, but never absent from my heart. Undertale is a lesser-known psychological horror